Um, we have a live program going on right now at the moment. You can continue with this program on our various platforms. So let's begin the conversation. Politics is often a game of strategy, but sometimes the legal battles that follow can shift the tides of power. In Rivers State, the Supreme Court has dismissed the suit filed by Governor Siminalayi Fubara over the representation of the 2024 budget before the 27 lawmakers loyal to Nyesom Wike. The ruling, delivered by Justice Musa Wani Abba Aji, came after Fubara's legal team withdrew the appeal, a move that was not opposed by the Rivers State House of Assembly and its Speaker, Martin Ameule, with no objections. The court dismissed the case and ordered Fubara to pay 4 million naira in costs to the Assembly and its Speaker. This ruling reinforces the legal complexities surrounding governance in Rivers State and the lingering political tensions shaping its future. PQ, first of all, what do you make of the Supreme Court's decision dismissing the appeal against the Ameule-led House of Assembly?
Well, there's a lot of drama that's going on in Rivers State. And I don't think people should be excited about what has happened because this is not the main case. The main case that we are all waiting for is still before the Supreme Court, and it is to determine whether Martin Ameule and others are still members of the House of Assembly. The Governor Fubara and his loyalists do not believe that those guys are still members of the House of Assembly.
Okay.
They do not believe it. They believe that they have defected to the APC and they have lost their seats. But what I've always said, and I'm still waiting for anybody alive who can fact check me and say that what I've said is not the truth. What I've said repeatedly is that it is the courts that can take their seats away from them. Yeah, and it's commonsensical. You know that what the law books say is that if you take a life, your own life will be taken in return. At least in Nigeria, the death penalty is still amongst our laws. But that somebody has killed maybe his wife or a colleague at work does not mean that it will not be subjected to trial, that they will just come and bring a knife and cut his neck.
Because it is in the law.
Because the law says
exactly.
Whoever kills
should
die. People who have lost their seats in the National Assembly that we have seen, the court took those seats from them. That is the legal way to get them to lose their seats. Now, people are not prepared to listen. Everybody has become a judge. They are not prepared to let the judges do their work. Everybody has become a judge in the Rivers State matter. And when you tell them, let the rule of law be applied, let us be patient for the courts to decide. They tell you, oh, he's supporting Wike. Oh, Babajide is Wike's friend. Babajide is supporting Wike. How can I be Wike's friend? He knows in his heart that I'm not his friend. Because I'm not afraid to speak my mind about him. It was on this program that I said that I felt he was not acting his age by exchanging words with an Adeyanju that even me, as small as I am, I would not even exchange words with his elder brother. So to you, for saying the truth, Jide, Wike is Jide's friend. How is he my friend? I don't have his phone number, and I do not even need it. But the truth about our people, they just want, once they like you, today, some of the greatest thieves in our country, because they speak now like people who have moral conscience. There are people who do not believe that those people can do any wrong. If you attack them, they will say, oh. So this is the way we behave. In this matter, let's go back to this matter.
Okay.
The most important matter for the Supreme Court to resolve is whether Martin Amewule and others are still members. Because that, once that is resolved, it has a lot of ramifications. It then means if the Supreme Court rules that they remain members, if the Supreme Court thinks like the lower court thought and says you have not provided evidence that they've joined another party, it then means the actions that they have taken are valid. All of those laws that they were passing
remains valid.
Yes. The governor on his own side too, with 3 persons, they've also been passing bills. 3 persons looked at a trillionaire budget and hurriedly they said, okay, we passed ABA. The Supreme Court will have to look at what our law says.
Okay.
Will the law say that in any situation, because law in most cases gets applied rigidly. I was trying to see where the portion of the Constitution that the Supreme Court, that the lower court affirmed was infringed. I think is it Section 96 of the 1999 Constitution,
okay,
which requires that for legislative business there must be a quorum formed.
Okay, quorum.
Yes.
Okay.
That's Section 96 of the 1999 Constitution. Now, if the quorum was not formed, and you and I know that 3 persons
cannot form
a quorum in a house of 31 persons.
Exactly.
You know, except if our mathematics is inverted. 3 persons, 2 of them members, 1 speaker, cannot form a quorum. If the rule is applied rigidly, then we know that Fubara is in trouble. If it is not applied rigidly, maybe the court will say there are conditions under which this can happen. Then legislative business can be permitted when so and so happens and all that. We are not lawyers. We read the law like other people. Thank God it's written in a language that we understand. So we too are in position to say, okay, this is what we think will happen. So that case, not this one, what Fubara and his lawyers have done is simply to say, okay, we are withdrawing this matter because it's already overtaken by events. That's not how they presented it to the judges. So they felt that, okay, on February 6th, we had already served a notice that we are withdrawing this matter. But don't forget, before anybody pulls the wool over our eyes, don't forget that that matter was in respect of the 2024 budget of the state.
Which has...
They have gone ahead to even present, why this case was on before a resolution came. I had been pleading that the that the judiciary should hasten
this matter,
hasten up this the resolution of this matter before the matter was resolved. As we have seen now,
yes,
they had gone ahead to present 2025 budget to 3 persons. So, as far as they are concerned, the case was about 2024 budget. So, already overtaken, they've even implemented, they spent the money. They spent the 2024 budget. So, to them, what is the point? 2024, we've gone past 2024, we're in 2025. Another budget they presented. So, they didn't see any need to continue to pursue
the 2024
the matter that was decided by Justice Omotosho at the lower court, and then appeal court validated the same judgment. They lost both cases, and in spite of losing at the appeal court, he didn't think it was necessary to implement the order of the lower courts. Now, this one, they've gone ahead to present 2025 budget to 3 persons, 2 persons and a speaker. So they just felt in their heart that what are we talking about? 2024 budget, we've already spent it, we presented, that one is passed, we've already even presented 2025 budget to three-man house. So why should the case continue? So it was at their instance, and when at their instance they decided that they don't want to continue with the case, no one should feel that, oh, the Fubara is tired, he wants the case to end. No. This is just brinksmanship of some sorts. They are not prepared to say, okay, let this whole battle end. They are talking about 2024, is gone.
So it has nothing to do with, oh, maybe peace is on the horizon.
No.
It has nothing to do with
the
that.
people advising the governor are not people who want this matter resolved quickly. And a lot of them are making money. Some of them have left their states to camp in rivers, making money out of the crisis going on in rivers. They left their own state. They've left their own state to come and be making money in Rivers State. They do not want this matter to end. Right. So, and the governor is a politically naive person, somebody who does not have experience politically. So he's bound to listen to some of these things. But you see, it stands in the commonsensical that the Supreme Court has already, that matter, the Supreme Court has decided on it and awarded costs. There's a reason that the lawyers to the assembly members demanded that the matter should not be struck or should be dismissed outright. So that means costs awarded.
It cannot be
so
relitigated.
It goes into record. It goes into the record that this matter.
So it cannot be relitigated.
They lost this matter.
It cannot be brought up.
So now, 2025, the same 2025 budget now, the matter will still come up because they've already presented that one hurriedly too. It was passed. When the case is decided as to whether those guys are still members of the assembly, that is the big case that is tied to several others. There are up to 6 or so cases.
Yeah, exactly. It will set up a chain reaction.
Yes,
exactly.
As a chain of reaction that we would then begin to see it will
I've always said
that is what will, all of the head banging on the wall that we are seeing will not resolve anything until that matter. Are they still members? That is the big issue that the Supreme Court has to decide. And once that is decided, I think that even to them, to Fubara and Co., that is the case that they are interested in. Not this one. They know that this one is gone. The budget, I'm sure they finished spending the money. So what is the point? And we are in 2025 now. 2024 is long gone.
GKB, do you all of these things BK said, and also this case, the implication, what is the implication of this dismissal by the Supreme Court?
Well, in the first place, you must understand that the game the governor is playing is that of a bricksman. He's basically going to fight this battle in a way that will not give the impression that he's losing. That's the game he's playing. Because if this has gone to judgment, and the judgment has gone against his team, it will have allowed the other parties to assume that this is a precursor to the main judgments that everybody is waiting for. So what he's going to do mainly is that every case of this nature that is already at the Supreme Court, that is not that case, this will happen to them as well. Because it's like consolidating all your options into one particular basket. Because that's the game that everybody's playing. Without those members being returned, Fubara will continue to play this game the way it's played. If the judgment is not given this year, he will also spend the money of the 2025 budget.
The 2025.
He will also go back to court. He will also withdraw at this level, and then wait again for the 2026 budget. It's a game that has no end game.
So you think it's a deliberate?
It is deliberate, because you don't want to create the impression that you've lost. It's a perception game.
Yes.
A lot of people that are making money from this don't want this matter to be decided.
They've left their states. They are now
one way or the other.
Family in rivers.
So based on that reality, we still have a long way to go. This is the evening of the case. We are not even at night yet. Midnight is still far off. So it is only the day the Supreme Court will decide that we are making this case. Don't forget there is no House of Assembly building it was destroyed.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
And that will also be a factor, even after the judgment. If it goes against the governor, they will still go back and say, well, we cannot do this. They cannot sit anywhere. They have no building. Because I have a feeling that they want to drag this as much as they can, for as long as they can.
Yes, yes, yes.
That's the end game. They know they will, I don't want to say they will lose. They know that their case is weak. But like any other person playing the game, you know the story in the Bible about the two women fighting over a child.
Okay.
So it's the same thing here. You look at the game and say, okay, ultimately the team may turn against me, but how long can I drag this out?
Okay, but in this case, is this a victory for either party of the suit, or is this a victory for constitutional supremacy?
Yeah, we used to call this in table tennis tossing. You know what that means in table tennis?
Yes, I do.
Before you start the game, this is what we are doing now. We are tossing.
So this is preamble. We have not gotten to the...
Like I said, if that case is not, if those members are not returned or they are returned, then the real game will start. Right now, without that, we are just going around in circles.
BK, the issue in Rivers State, you talked about it that this matter cannot, well, it's only the court. But do you still see political solution?
Oh, you asked me this question the other day when,
yes, because
when they started talking about peace, that Pandev also
yes,
wanted peace. And I said,
Yobong Victor Atta.
and they made Baba Victor Atta chairman of the committee. What has happened? I told you that even people like Wike will not go and face that panel. Because the person at whose instance the committee was birthed had already taken side. The shame for leaders in the Niger Delta, especially Rivers, on this matter is that they've all decided to take side. They all decided to take side. When you take side, how do you then get a political solution?
Because ethnic
issues are involved. And then leaders, when there's a conflict, it makes sense for true leaders to stay in the middle and be consistent to be pursuing
justice,
a resolution of the matter. But when you openly show bias, each one of those leaders has decided whether to pitch tent with Governor Fubara or to pitch tent with Nyesom Wike. So if you talk to me now, I am Fubara, you are a Wike supporter, you appeal to me, oh, why don't you let us have a meeting? I will doubt your intentions. I will be convinced that you don't have good intentions because you have put it on your face that you are a Wike supporter on this matter. And the same thing goes for maybe a GKB who is a diehard Fubara supporter, an old man supporting Fubara on this matter. He cannot talk to me if I were Wike to say, look, I mean well, I want peace, and why don't we agree to come to a meeting?
Find a common ground.
Will you be around on Sunday? Let us meet. Fubara too will be there. I want us to meet and resolve this matter. Wike will spit in his face because he knows that he has taken side. He's not even hiding it. He's been granting interviews all over the place. The way to show clearly where you belong in this matter is not to be walking into TV studios as an old man who is supposed to resolve a conflict between two of your children, granting interviews and showing your hand. When you show your hand in a game of cards, you've given some form of momentum to the enemy or to the opponent. You've put the opponent in a position of strength. That's not how it should be. Leaders, people have asked that question, that if these leaders knew what they were doing, people like President Bola Ahmed Tinubu should not have intervened in the first place.
Oh, really?
It's not his business intervening.
It's a local matter.
In a local matter of River State.
When they have
it's because they showed gross lack of capacity as leaders. They showed lack of even-handedness. That is why an outsider had to step in to see whether he could resolve a matter that is purely Rivers matter. And when the president intervened, they were the same people who felt, oh, the president was biased. Even when the governor began to implement some of the agreements reached before the president, they were the ones who told him, why are you
the
doing
Rivers
this?
elders.
Yes, because of some of those ministers, commissioners, they told him to take them back. And
withdraw cases,
we took them back.
Impeachment and
He took the commissioners back. But they were the same people who said, no, the president is biased, this and that. If you cannot deal with a matter on your own, somebody now steps in. You should actually be ashamed of yourself that you had to step in, because that was your job that he was doing. And then you said he was biased. You too should have tried to resolve it. Let us see your own level of even-handedness. But you didn't even give us a chance to see how best you can go at resolving a family matter. So this is what I see. I'm waiting. The judiciary will still be the one to resolve this matter. Ultimately. And when the judiciary steps in and resolves the matter, everybody will know where it belongs.
Where it belongs.
We've put up with the nonsense going on in Rivers for too long, honestly. And they are eating up the polity. Today, this one will abuse this. Wike will call a media chat and spend a good portion of that media chat is abusing his younger brother. When that one too saw that, oh, this was Wike, after all, I'm the apprentice, you are the teacher. Okay, if you can do
media chat.
If you can do media chat, I will not do media chat. I will do lives. You two will now do lives and be abusing people the same way Wike was doing. Those are some of the things the lessons that I picked up from his boss. So we are now seeing them exchange of brickbats here and there. Some of the things they've said about themselves convinced me that nobody can resolve this conflict.
He said, BKO said
some of the things they've said about themselves publicly convinced me that nobody can resolve this matter. Only the courts.
Some huge, big, really harsh words. BKO said that only the judiciary can resolve it. He also said the president should not even have interfered. Yeah. Do you agree with him?
Yes, I do, because for two reasons, really. The Yorubas have a saying, an elder cannot be in the markets, and the neck of the newborn gets cut. Okay. That's not the way it works. That's why you are elders. River State people, former governors, former senators, and it's been a one-party state. Remember, no other party has ruled that state since 1999. So you are talking about a structure that is supposed to be there permanently. Board of whatever they call it, Elders Council, a long line of structures that the matter should not get to this level. We are two brothers are telling people the size of their mothers, something. It's not right. These are people in their 50s and their 60s. And our young people don't look at, they don't listen to what we say. They watch what we do. And that's why I'm not very happy about what is happening in Rivers. So I think what will happen now, really, is the fact that we'll continue with these brickbats. Everybody will be throwing stones. They will be providing us with entertainment.
You think it will go into extend till 2027?
This particular judgment that is not this particular thing.
That
you think
once the judgment comes, a lot of this thing will stop.
Ultimately, that's where we are going.
Now, in all of this crisis, the governor, the house, where lies the Rivers people? What is the implication for the people of Rivers State? We'll get to talk about this right after this commercial. Joined us is still Journalist Hangout. I still have BKO right here and GKB. So, before we went on that break, I asked you, where lies the Rivers people? The implication of this crisis on the Rivers people?
Funnily enough, Rivers people have really, apart from the political imbroglio that we are facing, their governors have been very, very hardworking. Right from the days of Odili, down to Amechi, down to even Wike, who was known as Mr. Project. Even despite the problem they are facing now, one of the PR things that the governor is doing is doubling whatever Wike thought he had done.
Okay.
Wike built 4 bridges and building 8.
Flyovers.
Wike did
let him do it.
13 roads and go to do 26 on paper at least.
Well,
That's what
okay.
they are doing.
Okay.
So I think it's basically juvenile. But the Rivers people are divided along the same lines that they've always been for the last 20 years. There will always be somebody complaining of marginalization or somebody complaining, even when the two gladiators are from the same ethnic background. They will still tell you what do you call them? Up rivers, down rivers.
Upland.
All these will always be factors here. And so a lot of people that are lining up behind the governor, they don't care that he's breaking the law, that he's representing a particular face.
They don't care that he's breaking the law as long as he's from my own.
I know a man who told me frontally that, look, this is our boy. It doesn't matter, nothing will happen. And he said that just a few months after President Tinubu came into power. And we are now here almost 2 years after the fact. And nothing has been resolved. Because like Gide said, a lot of people are benefiting from this and they are not about to let go easily of this free fall that is coming. In these days when things are tight and you have access to such money, you will create anything for the governor.
The rivers with a bottle is still very much.
We know a governor in the north that spends more time in Port Harcourt than in his own states.
Okay. All right, gentlemen, let's move straight to our